Welcome back to the studio. My name is Yaku. Behind the camera, as per usual, is the Maya, and we deliver these videos to the world.
And you have a delivery today.
We did try and give a little bit of the secret of the workshop away. Today is no secret. It's a 3-stone diamond ring, 18 karat yellow gold. I've been working less and less in 18 karat and more in platinum, but here and there I'm picking up more people asking for it. Anyway, 3-stone diamond ring. The way I made it today in this video might be different to the ways I've made it in previous videos.
And we'll put it in the description, a couple of other videos that are similar in case you didn't find what you were looking for in this video.
Anyway, let me show you what I've done right here. I bought a piece of 18 karat yellow gold to start off with. This is the piece right here. Doesn't matter which way I go about making anything, I always start with the centerpiece. Everything is in relation to the centerpiece. I'm working on the diamond height and I'm working on the actual shape, which is an oval shape. The style that I'm quite comfortable with, familiar with, and that works for us is that I bring the stone down just about the finger itself. So I'm looking at the height of the stone in relation to the setting, and the first thing I'm going to make is the oval setting. I'm using one of these bezel blocks, these oval bezel blocks. You can actually take the size of the diamond and put it on top of the bezel and see exactly where you need it to be. You keep cutting it until it gets to the point, keep punching it until it gets small enough, and then when it's just above the size where you need it to be, you can actually take it and scribe on the actual bezel itself, remove it, and then cut that off. Then you know it's perfectly flush to what you saw and what you intended it to be. Yeah, that had to break up a fight between two cats. It's a triggering thing for my Doberman as well. Okay, so I'm dealing with the center setting. I'm only looking at that. I'm splitting it open because it gives it a nice little light and a little groove. I'm splitting it, but I'm not cutting it yet. I'm going to put 4 claws on the center setting, and before I put the claws on, I'm going to remove the section that I've split open. So for now I'm marking it and I'm filing it and I'm neatening it up, making sure that I've got the right height from the top for the stone to rest on and also the right height from the bottom. Remember, I'm going to be filing a rounding into the bottom in this case as well. Your setting height and your stone lying on top of it, the point must be just higher than the little filing. So accommodate your filing as well so that you make sure that the stone doesn't go too low. I've gotten a little stencil actually where you can place the oval on top of the stencil.
Do we have any footage on that?
We don't have any footage on it because the stencil is absolute rubbish. I went onto my Mac and I just created a little oval. I created a perfect line and I've split them to about 60 degrees. And I printed these out in different sizes, took my little setting, put it straight on top of it until I found the one that matches perfectly, made little marks. And then the same concept, if you're looking at your top over here and you're looking at your bottom, you want to make sure that your wire hits at absolutely 90 degrees and then straight down. I've decided to make the first ring as a sort of sacrificial ring. I only really need the little section that's going to be from the actual setting down to a certain point over here. I don't need the rest of the ring, but I'll make the entire ring so that I'm spot on with the size, and also that when it comes together I can cut out exactly where I want to put my oval setting into, proportion everything, and then remove the edges. Created this little band just to accommodate the center stone, but also keeping in mind that those pear-shaped stones are going to have a certain width, and I need to make sure that that width is also accommodated. And also the other thing I should mention is the place I'm going to be opening it up is on the solder joint, so that I've got a complete solid ring all the way around. It's a good practice to do that because you never have any other joints anywhere else. I only really need those two parts to hold the center stone, because the entire center stone is going to be supported by the rest of the stones coming up from the side as well, and all the wires and everything else. On the pear shapes, I've taken one part of metal, bent it around. Because of the stones being exactly the same size, I might as well make one single setting that is exactly the same shape as the stone itself. You just pre-bend the corners and then bend this last part, bringing them together and making sure the whole time that your stone sitting on top of it shows no metal on the sides, basically creating the shape of the stone from both ends, this side as well as that side. And once you're done with that and you're happy with the whole thing, solder it and then cut it in half. I'm now taking the settings and I'm making them float by tacking them onto the actual center setting. The trick here is that you've got the band that's consistent going down to the bottom. You've got the top ends where they're joining, and I'm joining them to the top of the setting like that. I'm not dropping them down, I'm joining the tops down, because this stone's got a bigger girdle, it's got a chunkier stone, so it's going to seat itself slightly higher, and this one I need to be as close as possible so that when you look at the top you don't have these gaps between the stones. So I'm taking the pear-shaped settings and I'm filing an angle on them, and I'm bringing them right up to the end over here so that the size of the oval stone is respected as well as the size of the pear shapes. And then it leaves you with the side bits. How much height have you got on the edges over here? You can put little spaces in there, so you're basically using the same thickness here than there, which means that if you worked on the top of this one and the top of that one, and you push them down with the same spacer, and you solder the top and the bottom, solder the top and the bottom, you've now created the exact same angle.
Do you want the spaces to be there permanently though?
No, the spaces become part of the setting. You're now filing that setting away. You're filing the pear shapes away from the top. You're working them away. You're cutting it away. This is where we cut the ring. And as you're cutting that, those little spaces that you put in over there, they get filed away. Only leaving the little tip where the spacer was sitting, which you're going to be cutting away anyway to put a claw on.
Or filing.
Or file away
Depending
anyway.
on the size of your pear-shaped setting, guys, we don't know what you're doing in your
It
workshop.
might be the size, you know.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be filing that. Before I put the shank on, I'm going to put the end claws onto the actual settings. I'm going to do these because at this point right now, I can take the claws right from the top to the bottom. And the other nice thing about that is when you're bringing your shank in, it's quite simple then, because if you're grooving the side of your shank at the same angle as your end claw, they'll just fit together like a little puzzle. We've taken the setting, we've got the right diameter, size K, and we are now working on a little solid structure. And now that allows me working from the top, because I know my stones are those sizes, I can now work them down. Even if you wanted to go at a slight angle, whatever you're doing, follow your shape. I need to add the end claws, I need to add 2 extra little claws next to the actual center setting as well, so that I've got 2 claws folding down on the pairs, and then the center ones on the ends can be folded back. So I've got 3 claws on the pairs, and then the 4 claws on the oval setting. Are you with me still?
I am.
The bottom part of this is still solid, and I leave that till the end because I first want to shape my pear shapes before I start cutting through there and start shaping the actual inner walls of that. Now I'm saying this out of experience, because if you pre-shape it and you think it's really pretty and you're working down the edges, you might find that one edge needs to be worked down a little further, and then it's going to mess with the thickness of the wall and it's not going to present as nice. And because we're making these, as you might have seen in some of my previous videos as well, because we've got it exposed and it's simple to get in there right now, I'm taking a small little saw blade, I'm adding a little detail towards the ends of the claws, and these are little things that just sort of puts a little final finishing touch on your work as well.
It's like when somebody leaves you a little note when they've gone away and you find it and you go, oh. I guess it's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that, yeah. We're almost there. I just need to add the shank. The way that I made the shank is 100% just to support whatever I've built at the top here. I'm not doing anything strange. I'm keeping it nice and thick. and that gives me enough space to give it a nice rounding on the inside as well. I'm keeping it on a smaller size, and I'm stretching it up until it gets to the exact size and hammering it so that I know my size is completely settled. Once I've done that, I cut through it, I solder it, and I beat it so that we've got that little bit of a knife edge. Knife edge is just there to meet up the distance between the finger, where it meets the finger, and the top of the pear shape. So I want a very gentle knife edge on that, coming down to a very straightforward, thick 18 karat band that sits on the fingers. The other reason why I'm making it a little bit chunkier is because if it was thin, you would have a tendency of the ring moving around. Some fingers have got chunkier knuckles, and then when the ring's loose to the side, it tends to swing around. But if you give it a little bit of weight at the bottom,
And a bit of stability.
and a bit of stability, and a bit of comfort on top of that. Put it together, guys. This is it. This is what I made. Thank you very much for watching until the end, as per usual.
Also, if you're new, welcome to our channel. And guys, if you have any questions, comments,
Straightforward, directly message me on Instagram under Yaku the Jeweler, spelled over here on the screen, done by Damaya, so skillfully, right there. You can direct message us over there. We try and get back to the comments as quick as possible. Thank you very much for all the love. We will see you next week.
for your next delivery.
For your next delivery.
Okay.
That's it. Cheers. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.